Starting BattleTech in Berlin, Germany was a genius move on my part because I'm surrounded by players who've been playing this game for 5 years, 10 years, 20 plus years. And there's just such a huge accumulated mass of information that you can learn from veteran players. If you're a new BattleTech player, I strongly advise you to find some veteran players to play with you. You will learn a lot faster because you're going to learn these little tricks and tips on how to play the game a little bit more efficiently and faster. Here's one of those things. Now, if you're anything at all like me, you don't have that much experience with playing hex-based miniature games. Of course, I've played video games, hex-based video games and board games, but those usually don't really require you to count that many hexes as BattleTech does. Like BattleTech does have all of these weapon ranges and movement ranges and everything, so you're going to have to know a lot of stuff, and you're going to have to be able to calculate all kinds of modifiers in real time as you're playing the game. Of course, it's turn-based, so you do have all the time in the world. And also, if you're coming from a different wargame, maybe you're not used to the idea, but you can totally pre-measure stuff in BattleTech. That's totally fine. Like if your opponent is moving their units, you can totally pre-measure stuff. You should totally take advantage of that when playing BattleTech. Also, of course, as you play BattleTech, you're just gonna get a lot faster. When I started, I was terrible at counting hexes, really. It took me a long time. I was trying to remember all of the ranges at the same time and stuff, but when I just played some more, I started to get the hang of it. It's not very difficult, but there are some things you can do to improve it right away. For example, let's have a situation where this Orion here is going to infiltrate this base or something. Unfortunately for the Orion, there is a Crusader here occupying the base. And now the Crusader wants to fire its LRM missiles at the Orion here. Maybe there's like some infantry in the turrets spotting for the Crusader. If you're anything at all like me, you're a bit of a dumbass. And you're going to start counting the hexes, trying to go the direct line from the Crusader to the Orion. I mean, that does make sense. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 hexes. All right. I mean, you can do that. That's totally fine. But I found that I sometimes had trouble, especially at longer ranges. I had some trouble where I was counting hexes and I accidentally went in the wrong direction at some point or something. So that's something you don't want to do. I mean, it's not a horrible thing, but it's just gonna take a little bit of time. But what I learned pretty quickly is this. Due to how hexes work, you can take two lines that intersect and count the hexes along those two lines. For example, in this situation, we've got two lines, one coming from the Crusader here, and one coming from the Orion here, and they intersect here. And you can totally count the hexes. We've already counted it's 14, but you can totally count the hexes very quickly and very easily using those two lines. Let's have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And of course, it does work from the other side as well. This line here and this line here. So once again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I would say that's a lot cleaner and nicer than just trying to count like a snaky little road here. What you can of course also do to make things faster, if you're so inclined, you could always use two fingers if you wanted to. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Once again, it does work. I understand some people even use 3 fingers, but I feel like my fingers are a little bit too short for it or something. I'm not sure. It doesn't feel that nice for me, but maybe your experience will be different. Maybe you could even use 4 fingers. I'm not sure. Well, that's going to be up to you and your hands. Of course, there are also these sort of obvious situations like this one, where maybe you've already fired with the blackjack, you've counted its 5 hexes, and now you want to fire at the Orion again with the Crusader, and now you can just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so it's 10 hexes away for the Crusader. I mean, this sort of thing is probably obvious to anyone who plays BattleTech for more than a couple of games, but, you know, just little tricks and ways to make the game a little bit faster. Anyway, that's pretty much this very short video for this week. Thanks for watching, and see you next time. I've got something more substantial in mind for next week.